So the Ripple protocol, like Bitcoin, is an open source protocol that anybody can use. You don't have to pay Ripple Labs a fee or license anything. It really is like a public good. We don't own it, we built it, but it has now been released to the world. And the protocol is really three things. So some ways similar to the Bitcoin protocol, some ways very different. The way we view this is first and foremost, this should be a distributed payments protocol. That sort of comes first before the map-based currency. We think that's really what the world needs, this idea of an internet for value, which we can talk about. Second, it is a math-based currency, like Bitcoin. Math-based currency simply means a currency without a counterparty, which is a really unique thing in the world. It plays a really, really unique and important role in building an internet for value. And then third, very differently from Bitcoin, because Ripple is value agnostic. You can put anything in there. You can put Bitcoins themselves in there. You can put airline miles, dollar, euro, yuan, real, anything can be in Ripple. It ends up being, we think, the world's first distributed currency exchange. So that's kind of the Ripple.
Hey, what's going on, bull runners? Welcome back to the channel. Have you ever wondered if the crypto market is being secretly manipulated to keep you in the dark? What if I told you that right now, hidden forces are moving billions of dollars, shaking up Bitcoin's future, and putting your investments at risk? Well, today we're pulling back the curtain on a massive $5 billion FTX payout that could flood the crypto market, a Bitcoin supply shock that's quietly brewing, and a ticking time bomb in the United States banks sitting on hundreds of billions in unrealized losses. These aren't just headlines, they're signals of a seismic shift in the crypto world that could change everything. So stick with me for the next few minutes as we break it all down for you in simple terms so you can stay ahead of the chaos. And here's the kicker. If you stick with me until the end, I'm going to be giving you an exclusive access to our free ebook, Altcoin Secrets, that could change your trading strategy forever. Plus, we will be heading over to X to find out all the breaking news that's happening in the financial world today. We will be checking in at Forex Factory to find out the red folder news that was announced this morning. We will deep dive into the FTX payouts. We'll see if there's any merit to this Bitcoin supply shock that could happen. Plus, we will be jumping into the XRP charts at the end of this video, looking for our next support and resistance levels for XRP. More importantly, we're going to be looking at our long-term and short-term momentum waves. We will also check in on Bitcoin and do the same exact thing. But first, let's head over to CoinMarketCap and check out the health of the overall crypto market. So currently, the total market cap does come in at 3.25 trillion. It is down 3.36% today. As we see here on the 30-day chart for total market cap, the next level of support would be $3.2 trillion. There is a previous low sitting right here, which is 3.22 trillion. It would be best if we did not break down below that. If the total market cap bounces back from this level before 3.22, it would actually be a positive sign, a new higher low. Then we could see a new higher high on its way for the total market cap and finally break above that $3.6 trillion level. We do have $150 billion worth of trading volume in the last 24 hours. So the markets are moving, unfortunately, to the downside. Fear and greed index currently coming in at 61. We are still in the greed level. We are about to pass into neutral where people could start to go risk off. Yesterday was a 65. Last week was a 76. Altcoin season index looking awful. 17 out of 100. It is full on Bitcoin season, meaning you are going to less likely lose money if you're holding Bitcoin. And that is also shown in proof here with the Bitcoin dominance being 63.4%. And checking in with the Bitcoin ETF tracker, we had some really bad news today. We had a minus $348 million outflow from the ETFs. This is not good at all. This is starting to show weakening institutional investment. We're starting to see these big institutions that were buying ETFs for their clients taking profits. Now, we knew this time would come, but we didn't expect it to come so early at $112,000. Now, the job of these ETFs and of these hedge funds is to make money for their clients. So the fact that they did sell at the tops shows that they were doing the right thing for their clients. But unfortunately, for the total market overall, losing $348 million in a single day is not positive. And when we take a look at the yearly scale here, away from that 30-day scale, we can see we had some extreme pump into ETFs over the last several weeks. And that was really the catalyst for this move to the upside that we've been experiencing since the beginning of April. This week's flows officially over. Weekend starts tomorrow. No flows will be coming in. It still is a positive inflow of 544 million. But next week, it is a possibility that we start to see the downside outflows of ETFs. And we can see what happened last time when price hit this local highs up here back in January. Then the ETF started selling off. Price dumped extremely hard to the downside. Price moved from 102 all the way down to $80,000 once the ETF started unloading. So ETFs have been a great leading indicator for pumps and dumps in the crypto market. That's why you're a genius for watching this channel. Make sure you subscribe. We cover this for you every single day. Now, also, as we covered yesterday, the unemployment claims came out horrendous for us. It was forecast at 229,000. It ended up being way above that at 240,000 unemployment claims, and Bitcoin responded heavily, and the ETFs responded heavily. People are dumping. They believe that people who are normal, that have jobs, that are now going into unemployment, meaning there's not enough people to buy the coins that are available when it comes to retail. The numbers that came out today at 5:30 this morning was the PCE price index was forecasted for 0.1%, and it came out the actual 0.1%. And the reason this is a very important number, it's the Federal Reserve's primary inflation measure. Inflation is important to currency valuation because rising prices lead to central bank and rise in interest rates out of respect for inflation containment mandate. And the PCE stands for Personal Consumption Expenditures Consumer Price Index. So this week's reports are gone. Next week reports are here. We've got a ton of red folder news, crazy amounts of volatility potentially next week. We got PMI, Fed Chair Powell speaks. Could he actually do an emergency rate cut? It is possible. We have JOLTS job openings coming out. We have unemployment again next week. So lots of important news. Subscribe and we'll cover this for you every single day. Now, heading over to X, first and foremost, I want to let you know we are giving away $100 worth of XRP. Congratulations to Quintessential One for winning our previous XRP giveaway. If you want to win next, all you have to do is follow us at BULLRUNNERS HQ, like, retweet, and comment XRP under this post, and subscribe to our crypto newsletter. All you got to do is click on this link. Get our free ebook, Altcoin Secrets, the underground guidebook to become a crypto millionaire. Click the orange button, enter your best email, and click send me my free ebook, and you're all set. Winners will be announced on Sunday night. As you saw in the intro of the video, while the world was obsessing over Bitcoin, Chris Larsen was building and designing something far bigger. The XRPL isn't just a blockchain. It's three technologies in one: a distributed payments protocol, a math-based currency, XRP, and a value-agnostic global exchange. And if you've been around the XRP community long enough, you know that everyone is conspiratorial, or maybe 95% of the holders are conspiratorial in the fact that XRP is going to be the next big currency to run the world, which is really interesting and awesome if it happens. But take a look at this. So Bank XRP posted this on September 20th, 2019. Cross River Bank was Ripple's first signed bank to use Ripple protocol. And then just 3 hours ago today, and 9 hours ago prior to that, just in Elon Musk to launch X Money, which we've been following along on that, all bank accounts will be held by Cross River Bank. Now, what could this be? What kind of coincidence could this be? Could X Money use XRP for the money, or RLUSD, something attached to XRP? It's very much a possibility. Also happening now in Las Vegas, XRP Vegas, the line is absolutely huge, as you can see right here. It just keeps going on and on and on out the building. XRP Las Vegas happening this weekend. And as we talked about in the intro here, US banks are now sitting on a $413 billion in unrealized losses as of Q1 2025. And this is per the FDIC, and it's driven by rising interest rates since 2022 that devalue fixed rate bonds, especially mortgage-backed securities, as mortgage rates climbed. The chart distinguishes losses between held to maturity securities, keep until due, less immediate impact, and available for sale securities, market valued, more direct effect. with the largest drop since 2022 tied to the economic shifts like inflation and policy uncertainty. So as we can see right here, unrealized gains and losses, we were doing pretty darn well through the 2010s and 15s and then 18 and doing really, really well until 2022. We dropped off of an absolute cliff, and it's been nothing but losses ever since then. Now, if you're looking at the chart for something positive, though, we are seeing a trend back to the zero line here. It's obviously going to take some time to get back up there, but the trend is starting to move in that direction somewhat. And an interesting piece of breaking news coming out right now, too, Trump admin is using Palantir's PLTR Foundry to collect and centralize Americans' data for federal agencies, potentially enhancing surveillance and creating detailed profiles from government data per NY Times. Now, this is not good. This is a horrible thing for the United States government to be collecting every piece of data from you to move forward in a surveillance state. Now, we do know that going to a digital currency is also going to help create a surveillance state because they'll be able to watch over the money that you spend, how you spend it, and turn on and off your money depending on what they decide to use. But the fact that they're going to be tracking every single piece of you from the federal agency's data, this is pretty horrifying in reality. Also, in a major announcement today, SharpLink Gaming is going to raise $1 billion to acquire Ethereum. And if you remember what we covered just a couple of days ago, they've already made a purchase of $425 million on May 27th, signaling a strategic pivot to an Ethereum treasury strategy for the company. And in another amazing find as far as coincidences go with Ripple and the XRP community, Not Financial Advice does an amazing job of putting this. If you're not following Not Financial Advice, do that. In fact, he's also one of our affiliate partners with Altcoin Pro University. And if you're not familiar with Altcoin Pro University, it's actually a school that we put together and a platform to help bring a community together in crypto. The link is down below. And one of my favorite parts about Altcoin Pro University is the post your wins section here. As we can see right here, Labubu wins again, had to take another $14,000 in profit off of Labubu, which is a coin that we announced. Earl says, I'll take that small win. Liverpeer coin, LPT, is up 109%. Trading at $11 today, took profit off of that one. Earl also took profit off of a ZBEC. It is still killing. It says, my God, I should have thrown 2K instead of 200. That 200 now 2,900. I've been waiting this drop every single day, but it's up 35 to 50% day after day for the last 2 weeks. Wish I'd have thrown more at it, but it hasn't slowed down. And we could just keep going on and on and on and on, scrolling through all of the wins that our community continues to get. But going back to this post from NFA, he says, wow, it's actually a double 589. If you guys are not following along with what's happening here, Brad Garlinghouse is currently following 589 people. Ripple, the company, is currently following 985 people, which is just the reverse of 589. But then we also know that Hidden Road, the company that Ripple recently acquired, well, guess what? Hidden Road's partners headquarters is located at 589 5th Avenue, 8th floor in New York, which their zip code is 10017. So when you put this together, it's actually a double 589. 589, 5th Avenue, 8th floor, 10017. 5th Avenue is a 5, 8th floor, 9, when you add up 10017. So you have Brad Garlinghouse of 589. You have Ripple, the XRP or X.com page rather. You have the address for Hidden Road being 589. The digits is literally, the address is 589, but it's also 5th Avenue, 8th floor, 10017. Absolutely nuts. Like, how is that coincidence possible? So on the back of that positive news for Ethereum, there's going to be a company that's going to be using it as a treasury. We also have JP Morgan saying that Ethereum's upgrade has failed to increase network activity. So we know that Ethereum recently did an upgrade. It was supposed to bring more users to the community. Unfortunately, the hype, the excitement around Ethereum is just not there at the moment. It will when it starts to pump. I still feel that it is undervalued. In fact, after these last 24, 48 hours of prices coming down for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP, in the charts, Ethereum still holds the strongest pattern that we'll take a look at here in just a couple minutes when we get to the charting. If you're only here for the charting, go ahead and fast forward to the end. You can get to that. Also, when it comes to financial news, Jamie Dimon is not effing around today. He says that China is an adversary, but we might actually have an enemy within as far as the United States goes.
The biggest one, underlying both that, is the enemy within. I'm not as worried about China. China is a potential adversary. They're doing a lot of things well. They have a lot of problems. What I really worry about is us. Can we get our own act together, our own values, our own capability, our own management? What you heard today on stage was the amount of mismanagement is extraordinary by state, by city, for pensions, and that stuff is going to kill us. And, I always get asked this question, are we going to be the reserve currency? And no, if we are not the preeminent military and the preeminent economy in 40 years, we will not be the reserve currency. That's a fact. Just read history. Now I think we will be. Warren Buffett here would tell you we're enormously resilient. I agree with that. I think this time is different. This time we have to get our act together, and we have to do it very quickly.
As one of the most prominent bankers in the United States, JP Dimon usually knows and usually is right on the things he talks about. So we, as the United States, needs to get our act together. We need to pass those Doge cuts and much more, rein in the spending, and create more GDP for the United States. And just in, U.S. to increase sanctions on Chinese tech targeting subsidiaries. So as you know, as of recently, the United States dropped the extremely high tariffs off China. I think it was 125%. Then it went to 90. It was down to 30%. Now they are going to increase sanctions again on Chinese tech because due to the fact that they did not properly follow instructions on the previous reduction of sanctions, Trump then said, okay, well, they're not doing what they're supposed to do, so we're going to turn up the volume on them again. Now, next up, we have the Supercore PCE turns negative for the first time since COVID. Fed now dangerously behind on the rate cut curve. Now, as you know, Donald Trump has been telling Jerome Powell for the last 3 months, I believe it is, that he needs to cut rates. He keeps calling him too late Powell, right? He was too late to raise rates during the struggle area. And now he's being too late to reduce rates. And as we can see right here, we should definitely be able to now start easing those rates as far as the Fed funds rates. So as you saw in the upcoming week, Jerome Powell will be speaking on Monday or Tuesday. I'd have to go back and check. And maybe he will finally reduce the rates from 4.5 to 4.25, or even an amazing move down to 4% for the Fed funds rate. In a crazy turn of events, UK MP Emma Reynolds says the UK government has no plans to adopt a strategic Bitcoin reserves, citing Bitcoin's volatility as inconsistent with foreign exchange reserve investment principles. And then speaking of more conspiracies and riddles when it comes to Ripple, we also have the fact that Ripple's X.com page just put this as their background, which now has the XRP community scrambling to figure out what the heck does this mean. Anders says, did Ripple just go full Riddler? New header image on X account shows a euro receipt, a clock, and a Wall Street bull statue. Also, Ripple following 985, Garlinghouse following 589. And Ripple just released a video saying it's happening. So very exciting stuff going on, very conspiratorial stuff, which is always fun. Very fun to dig into these riddles and see if anything comes about them. And speaking of very fun and very funny, I've got something that I've got to show you. Now, as you know, the United States has some crazy stuff that goes on from time to time.
Want to know what I found out the other day?
What do you found out the other day?
Did you know the entire Earth is $315 trillion in debt?
Whoa.
Yeah. What? Who do they owe money to?
Bro, who are they getting money from?
It blows my mind that first off, you have everything on the planet here to live for free.
You literally have everything you need.
And then you invent a system that creates a deterioration of your own resources.
You created a store of value that's literally storing less and less value every day. Every day.
And you're increasing your technology, and yet somehow you still owe money to someone, and it's $315 trillion. There's not enough paper to print that much cash. Why are they doing it?
Dude, Earth is like the worst meme coin. It's the worst.
It got rugged.
So the aliens watching this season of Planet Earth, they say that Earth got rugged. That's pretty hilarious there. So before we jump into the charts, let's go ahead and find out about this FTX payout. So as we can see here, FTX creditor breakdown, FTX to pay $5 billion on the 30th of May, which is today. So most of these large accounts, and this is another conspiracy that I was talking about yesterday in the video, are the big major players, the huge whales out there, purposely dropping and creating an extreme dip to pick it up because they know that they're going to have $5 billion worth of liquidity that they're going to be able to inject back into the market. They just wanted to be able to buy them at a lower price. So claims that were greater than $50,000 start to be paid out at 72.5% petition value. Claims that are greater than 50,000 of the 10 billion, there was 11,000 claims, and claims that are greater than $1 million, there was actually 1.1 thousand claims. So claims from 1 million to 10 million, the average account size was $3 million. Claims that are 10 million or larger, the average account size was $29 million. That is absolutely crazy. Approximate numbers here. So you have bucket people from 0 to 10,000, 10 to 50,000, 50 to 100,000, 100 to 1 million, 1 million to 10 million, and 10 million plus. So this is going to be 630,000 accounts, equaling a $10.9 billion distribution over time. And the average value, as you can see, is right here. Crypto investors and speculators closely monitor the FTX creditor distributions as their reimbursements could impact the digital asset markets and cause price volatility if the liquidity from reimbursements is offloaded or swapped on retail exchanges. The first round of creditor payments for recipients with less than $50,000 in claims was distributed on February 18th, and that totaled $1.2 billion. At the time, Alvin Kahn, chief operating officer at BitGet Wallet, told Cointelegraph that a significant portion of the $1.2 billion could be reinvested back into the crypto markets. And that is my opinion as well. I'm really thinking that people who are into crypto that lost their crypto want to be put back into crypto, even if it's at higher prices now, unfortunately, and even if it's at a lesser value than they had invested in there. In reality, they lost tons and tons of gains over time because prices did go up, but unfortunately, they're getting refunded at the price of that time. In September 2024, FTX creditor Sunil Kavuri shared court documents ruling that FTX creditors would be reimbursed as of the date their petition was filed instead of at current market prices, and this has caused a huge controversy. Creditors for the former exchange received only 10 to 25% of their crypto holdings value due to the court ruling, according to the investor. Crypto holders are not whole at petition date prices, as confirmed by the debtors. The United States Department of Justice Judge Kaplan Kuvari told Cointelegraph. For reference, the creditor's petition was filed during the depths of the crypto market winter when prices of Bitcoin was roughly $16,000. And now we know that it was up to $112,000, currently trading at $103,958. On top of that, you also have a list of countries that are ineligible for FTX creditor reimbursements, and it's just too many for me to even read. So that makes it look like FTX is going to come out with extra money in their pockets here. So regardless, I did want to put this on the map for you, on your radar, because people are going to be receiving those funds today, and that money will be injected back into the markets. Is this why the markets are dumping the last couple of days in preparation for this? And in a potential bullish scenario here, well, this is actually extremely bullish. It's just obviously not happening yet. But institutional demand is increasing for Bitcoin. Large demand will have a strong multiplier effect, meaning for every $1 of demand leading to, says, $20 to $30 additional market cap. We have already seen this multiplier effect after the launch of the Bitcoin spot ETFs or around the US elections. This could definitely lead to a possible spike in the Bitcoin price in the coming months. This liquid supply has been falling steadily over the past year and a half, not least because of the proliferation of Bitcoin acquisition vehicles such as Strategy, 21 Capitals, and other company treasuries. The Bitcoin ETFs have only seen 4 days of outflow since April 16th, and today being one of those days. Now, Bitcoin will likely see a phase or consolidation, which is classified as a healthy pause, and the pause will allow for the market time to digest recent gains and gear up for the next phase. Some analysts are calling for much higher price targets, some in the realm of $200,000 to $300,000. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the charts for XRP, Bitcoin. We'll take a look at Ethereum. So as we talked about yesterday, we have now officially broken below the bullish support band here on the Wolfpack indicator, which is the 0 line. We have officially turned red, and that break actually happened on May 29th, which was yesterday. And unfortunately, this has come to fruition now. We've got a couple of things that we talked about yesterday in the charts, and we're going to go through those today. So first and foremost, our ultimate support level that we could potentially be seeing again here is $1.90 in the short term. Now, there's a couple of positive scenarios that we're going to go through on a smaller time frame, but here on the daily, we're looking at $1.91 as our next major support. That is because we did lose, as of yesterday, confirmation of $2.25, which is our support level. And now we are dropping pretty significantly to the downside. Hey, bull runners, are you feeling FOMO about this bull run without the right financial support? We're here to change that. We're not just about funding, we're about growing your business together. Whether you're investing in crypto, kicking off a new startup, managing your existing business, or looking to expand, we have personalized funding that meets your exact needs. Imagine starting your business or getting capital to invest $100,000 to $250,000 at 0% interest. That's not a dream, it's what we do. We've helped countless entrepreneurs like you with 0% interest funding without needing personal funds, income verification, or collateral. With just a 680 credit score, you qualify. We understand that your business can't wait, so take advantage of our quick funding approach. We look beyond the credit score with inclusive approval process that sees the big picture of your business or investment potential. Our flexible repayments are tailored to match your business cycles, ensuring you can manage repayments without strain. With access to our extensive lending network of over 5,000 options, we're committed to finding the perfect match for your business or investing needs. Plus, you'll have our dedicated team by your side, guiding you through every step of the funding journey. Whether it's buying crypto, hiring new employees, or launching a new product, we're committed to your success. Click the link to connect with our expert advisors and secure your business's future now. Our long-term momentum has switched bearish. Our short-term momentum has flattened out to the bottom. When you get that combination of red on red, it is not good at all. Now, even when we start to see our momentum turn back to the upside on the short-term momentum waves from 0 back to 100, unfortunately, because we're in the red, we're probably not going to see an extreme volume of push to the upside. It's going to be a battle of some kind to get back to $2.25. Now, I did also want to share with you what we talked about yesterday for XRP as well, and that's my new chart system that I've come up with, and it's based on the 1100 exponential moving average. Yesterday, we were talking a lot about the fact that we had just landed on the 300 exponential moving average, the 300 or the 3-hour 1100 exponential moving average here. Let me go ahead and turn some of these smaller time frame ones off so it's not so blurry. Okay, and yesterday, once we broke below that, I said there's definitely a possibility that we could see a drop to the 4-hour 1100 exponential moving average. And in fact, that is literally where we just hit. In fact, it hit within the last 15 minutes here, came down and tapped that. Now, that's the 4-hour. This is where we definitely need to see support come into play. Okay, if we don't see support here and we start to battle back here at this $2.11, obviously we got the smaller levels. But then what we would have to do is take a look, instead of the 4-hour, which it just tapped off of, our next level down is the 5-hour, and the 5-hour brings us down to $2.02, which is essentially in correspondence also with the $1.90 level. It's pretty close, that 10 cents in there, okay? So the next level, if we break and lose this 4-hour 1100 exponential moving average, will be coming down to 202. And then we have a 6-hour, which we can take a look at, which is all the way down here, $1.89. Okay, and the reason that's important, look what happened last time we got to the 6-hour. It tapped it. Now, it did have an extreme wick to the downside, came back up, tapped off the 6-hour and ran to the upside. Let's even take a look here at the 7-hour charts. Is that where we bounced off of? Nope, so we dropped below 7 hours. Let's look at the 8 hours. And the reason I'm showing you this is you can utilize this, the 1100 exponential moving average. You can see how it actually puts layers out for you. So right now that brings you to $1.71 on the 8-hour. So good news is this right here looks like it was the 6-hour support level. If we continue to maintain that, price could drop all the way down here to $1.90, which is the numbers that we were just talking about. But we just tapped off right here, right now, the 4 hour. And if we can hold this and start our move to the upside, that is definitely a possibility right now. Unfortunately, we are going into the weekend, which usually the weekend is flat as far as volume goes, but everything has been bearish for the last several days. So we can look here, 1, 2, 3, 4 red candles. Well, 3 red candles to the downside. Today's candle just tapping off of this level here. It's just kicked off actually 23 hours and 30 minutes at the time of recording. Now, like we talked about though, short-term momentum wave zeroed out. Long-term momentum wave below the zero line for the daily, looking horrible. As we can see here on the 3-day, we are starting to make our way to the downside on the short-term momentum. And unfortunately, we have actually just broken down below the zero line on the 3-day. And if we look at the weekly chart still is the only one showing bullish, but the actual momentum wave is starting to curve to the downside. So we do have 2 days, officially Saturday and Sunday, left in this weekly candle, and it's come down and it has tapped off of this 1100 exponential moving average, the 4 hour on XRP. This could be a time of turnaround right here. So it's very, very important to follow this and see what happens over the next 2 days. Do we break this level and start to make our way all the way down to deeper levels of the $90s? And let's take a look at Bitcoin here. Now, their levels are going to be different because obviously Bitcoin front run XRP, which it did a phenomenal job doing a huge pump. And we are still long-term momentum on the daily bullish status. Okay, so we're still there. We are sloping down to the zero line, but it is easier for this Bitcoin to turn around and make a move to the upside. We have also zeroed out on the short-term momentum wave, the shaft trend cycle for Bitcoin. So it is poised for a push to the upside. But what's interesting, it has the same scenario going on. These are 1100 exponential moving averages. We can look at them on different time frames. So this one right here was the 30-minute. It just broke below the 30-minute 1100 exponential moving average. So the next one we would go to would be the 45-minute, which gives us right here 102,000. But we can even check on the 35-minute, and as you can see, that's where price has settled right now. So the 30-minute 1100 exponential moving average was here. That's what broke. It went and retested it, came down to the 35-minute level, and now it's sitting here hovering at this level. If we lose it, we could very likely be coming down to the 45, which is $102,000. Now, when we take a look at Bitcoin on a more simpler chart here, there's a couple of things that stand out to me on where price could be going. Okay, first off, the daily charts, we have not broken below the 30 exponential moving average. We did talk about this one yesterday. That's currently sitting at 103,000. We do even have a support zone here at 102,674 to 102,443. Okay, so we got that as a potential level. If we lose the 30 and that level, there's a likelihood that we come down to the 50 exponential moving average, which is currently trading at $100,000. But that is longer term. What I'm looking for in the short term, like we just talked about, though, is the potential of price for Bitcoin to come down to its 45-minute exponential moving average on the 1100 exponential. And that gets us into this zone here that we talked about yesterday, which is the 102,000. So there is definitely a possibility. If we don't break above the 10 exponential moving average on the hourly charts, then I do see a deeper correction to the downside. Now let's take a look at Ethereum. Now the interesting thing about Ethereum is when you're on the daily charts, you can see that it has made a nice bull flag. Okay, so price broke above the daily 1100 exponential moving average. It is a bull flag that is forming right now. It has definitely support here at $23.95 on the daily 1100 exponential moving average. So if it loses that, then we could be in trouble. But right now, it's still strong and it's showing bullish potential. As we can see, last time price moved up, it created a little bull flag right here and it really shot to the upside. So same scenario. Let's even see what this play out would be. If we go from here to here, and then we do a box for the flag right there. So this would be the actual flag. This is the flag pole. If we break out of the flag right there, so you're looking at a bull flag pattern playing out to the upside to the levels of 36.42 on the daily charts, we're still showing really bullish momentum here on the long-term momentum. And we have reset to zero. It's ready for a move to the upside on the daily. So right now, this flag pattern plays out. We got a flag pattern boundary of a lower level, 2504. The upper level is 2725. If we break it to the upside, then we could be heading significantly higher than 3500. If it breaks to the downside, I'm looking for it to come back and retest off of the level here at 2389-ish. If we get real bearish, unfortunately, there's a massive fair value gap on these two right here. So to the downside, we could be filling all of that fair value gap back to 1848. But I'm trying to maintain bullish outlook for us right now. Obviously, it's showing you downside targets as well. But bullish momentum wise, it looks really strong here for Ethereum, because when you look at what Bitcoin did is when it made its move and then a bull flag and then it made its move and then a bull flag and then it topped out. I mean, if you look at this and then you look at Ethereum, Ethereum just has not made that extra push. So as you can see right here, Ethereum came down to this massive drop. Bitcoin also dropped, but Bitcoin made this run right here. And then this same area, Ethereum didn't really run. It just consolidated sideways. Then we came up to this level here. Bitcoin did do this and made that big pump. That's where we were right here with Ethereum. It made this move, and then it has this right here. This was the consolidation. But as we can see, Bitcoin had the next push to the upside. It had a nice push to the upside, getting a new all-time high. Ethereum just fell flat. It didn't make its next push. So I still believe that that next push is in there, and that next push with the bull flag pattern play out gets you to 3,600. Now, unfortunately, as we take a look here, when Bitcoin bottomed, this is XRP on the left. XRP also bottomed, but when it was making its push to the upside, XRP never got any volume. I mean, it literally just didn't really get any push. If you look at it like exact same timing, you could say it was doing similar, I guess. It just, so as you can see right here, Bitcoin's consolidation, XRP kind of had this drop. And then it had a little move to the upside. We came here. And instead of just consolidating sideways, XRP kept doing this erratic, strange moves. And then we got to this level. We made that final push to the upside here. And while Bitcoin was consolidating sideways, XRP was making its final push to the upside as of the most recent high of this 265. So we didn't even get that third extension up like Bitcoin did. We've been dropping ever since then. So yeah, this could be it, right? So we look here, let's go back to a single page. We look at XRP. XRP just bounced off the 4-hour 1100x exponential moving average. This could be a great sign. If this holds, because this is a deep level. If this holds and starts to push up, we're looking for the next level of resistance. So instead of being negative and talk about supports, which is all we've been talking about, which is 211, 206, and $1.90. Let's talk about bullish momentum. Something's going to happen. Everyone got their money. We start flooding the market Saturday and Sunday, Monday, Tuesday next week. Price moves up. The next level that we need to break, well, first and foremost, we're looking here on the 4-hour chart. We have to break above the 10 exponential moving average. I have found that the 10 exponential moving average is pretty much the indicator that shows the direction of the market. As you can see, we were going up, up, up. And then we started coming down, 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 sideways, down. Okay, so we need to break that. So that way we start going up, up, up. Then we run into 225 again. 225, we have to break 225. Then we get up here to the 243. And for those of you guys that have been following the charting, why that's important is because that was the most recent high. Okay, that was the most recent high. Let's go ahead and turn off all of the drawings. Okay, so if we look at the pricings here, we had the high of XRP right here. And we're looking at bodies, not the wicks. In fact, let's go ahead and switch it to line chart so you can see. So right here, you had a high. This is our highest high as of recent. With the wick, it was all the way 340. So this is our high. Then we came down and we pushed up, but we could not break that high. So now we're losing market structure. Now this is a lower high. Then we got a lower low because this was our low, then a lower high, then a lower low. Then another lower high because it's lower than this one, then another lower low. And then we come here, and if we look at this, these are equal height, but unfortunately we lost it. So what does that mean? Well, the good news is if we do have that turnaround that I told you that's possible, that's fantastic. If we don't, and if we come back down below this level right here, so like this is where we don't want to lose, $1.92, then we're in severe problems, because then we have a new lower low, then we could have a pump, but it's another lower high, and then we have this full drop. And the real problem that I've been warning about with XRP is when we turn on traditional candles, you look at fair value gaps, that first super pump of that big week, it left an entire weekly fair value gap that would be filled down to 61 cents. Now that's like ultimate bear case. If we did hit the new all-time high on Bitcoin, new all-time high on XRP, if it's all done, which I don't think it is because of all the catalysts that are coming in, but that is where we could be coming back to 60 cents XRP.